Good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. I am so excited to be here with you all today. I want to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Kimberly Davis, and I am the Dean of the School of Education here at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. We are so excited to have you all here. It is a great pleasure and an honor to welcome you to the Region 4 Educator Rising Conference at UAPB. I am often asked, what does it take to become a teacher? My answer is simple. We are multitasking, differentiating, behavior changing ninjas. So that is simple. But to be honest about it and just simplify the process, we're often asked to focus on hard skills, such as content knowledge, technology integration, and classroom management. Still, we often overlook some of the most important attributes that a teacher can possess. Soft skills, which we know are very important. In the School of Education, we focus on Teach Pride. Teach Pride focuses on perseverance, rapport, integrity, determination, and equity. And we want to make sure that our teachers, as well as all teachers, focus on that in and out of the classroom. We also want to focus on making sure that teachers are ready on day one of instruction. Today, the committee has planned a full event of activities for you all, where you will all be able to participate with potential educators, new educators, I don't want to say old educators, veteran educators, and just education in its entirety. So we're happy to bring you all here because we all know that there is a dire need for teachers in the state of Arkansas and nationwide. So we welcome you. We want you to make yourself at home. We're here. We're a big family, and we're here to learn and also to make sure that all of our teachers are prepared. Next we're going to have up is a message from Secretary Key.
Hello, I'm Johnny Key, Secretary of Education for the state of Arkansas. I'm really excited to greet you today in this format. Wish I could be there with you in person, but I'm very excited about Educators Rising in Arkansas. We have worked for several years on growing the pipeline of opportunity for future educators in the state of Arkansas. We are seeing unprecedented growth, and it's because you, your fellow students, your teachers, others all over the state, our partners at higher education institutions are working together to create these opportunities. Today, you have the opportunity to interact with others, to engage in meaningful dialogue, participate in what will make Arkansas great in the future, and that is a great educator workforce. So welcome, very proud that you're here, and I'm very excited about the future of Arkansas education because of what you are doing here today.
Good morning. My name is Jessica Saum. I am very excited to be here with you today and offer a keynote. I am the 2022 Arkansas Teacher of the Year. I have the opportunity as the Teacher of the Year. I have a year sabbatical that started July 1st and goes through June 30th of next year. And I get to go all across the state and nation, speak to teachers, offer professional development, speak to future educators, and just learn alongside other teachers in the state who are doing amazing things. And something I really want to talk to you about today is choosing joy in education. I speak to a lot of veteran teachers about this, but I think it's really important to speak to future educators about this as well. So I want to tell you a little bit about me before we get started. I was named October a year ago as Teacher of the Year. I was a kindergarten through 4th grade special education teacher in Cabot. Before that, I taught in Jacksonville as a preschool teacher and then did some long-term substitution in Pulaski County and worked as a paraprofessional as well. This is just a few pictures about me. You can see the picture of the big check. That's your 2023 Arkansas Teacher of the Year, Caprice Saum, and she'll start July 1st of next year. Below that is the group of all the Teachers of the Year from all over the U.S. including Guam, Hawaii, Alaska, I mean, all over. We even have a teacher from Korea who's a Department of Defense teacher. And that was when we got to go to space camp this summer. We all wore outfits to help represent our state. And then you see a picture of my husband and then my husband and kids. My husband is active duty military, and something I'm very passionate about is supporting military connected families. My husband got back in June from 14 months away from our family, and the stress and burden that puts on children is hard to even explain. It's something that will affect them for years to come after the separation, but I think advocating for these families, their unique needs, and making sure not only socially, but academically, they don't sacrifice because of their parents' service is something that I'm really passionate about. Again, special education teacher, so part of my platform is really advocating for meaningful inclusion of students with special education services, making sure that they don't walk into a room and they're treated like a guest at the table, that they have a meaningful life ahead of them. And it's something that needs to start at the earliest ages and continue all the way through life. Because again, we're preparing kids not only for college, but community, career, a life after school. So again, I want to talk to you about joy. You guys are probably school age, a few years ago when COVID hit, and joy was just robbed from us. Even when we got back to the normal, whatever that new normal was, we were trying to make up for lost things. Sports, clubs, activities, prom, and it felt like a burden to find that happiness, to find that joy again. We lost so much, and then making up for it was even more of a stress. So it seemed like joy was robbed from learning a lot too. We had kids separated from one another. We couldn't go to recess all together. But I want to talk about that joy and bringing it back and making sure it's a part of learning. Number one, because it's the right thing to do. You guys know if a teacher likes you, you know if they're happy, you know if they want to be there teaching you, and you definitely know when they don't. And I don't want anybody in this room, if you choose to go into education, to be the teacher that kids don't want to learn with, because that's not how they learn. So I'm going to show you a few pictures of what joy can look like in my family, and it's some pictures from when I was named Teacher of the Year. So it was a surprise ceremony. I was blindfolded. I thought we were there for our One Book, One School pep rally. We had been doing Charlotte's Web. We had had a pig at school and a spider, and it was just really, really exciting. So they spun me around, and Secretary Key was there announcing that I had won Teacher of the Year. If you see the man standing in the back, that's my dad. My parents live in South Carolina. I had no idea they were there, so I have no idea that he is standing right there. And you can see I'm kind of trying not to ugly cry, like I'm trying to hold it in and look happy, but I don't want to cry, and that definitely did later. But then when I'd see my parents and see my children, like I said, my husband was gone. They did have him on a video, and he gave a message, but he was not there. But you can see my mom, she's about to lose it, and that's where I get it from, and my kids, and it was just so special having my family members there. This is a picture of my husband. He is, I would say, like textbook military. That's about as much joy as you get out of him. He's a fantastic husband and father, but he's just not super excited all the time. But he was so proud and so happy. And I'm sure it was hard for him not to be there with us. But it's a funny story. That morning, I called him and I said, someone told me they think that maybe this is the Teacher of the Year ceremony. Mind you, he knew. He had recorded a video. And he was like, Jessica, you don't even need to think like that. You made it to the Final Four. Like, you just need to be happy about that and go to this pep rally for the book. I was like, oh, you're right. Like, he shamed me a little bit knowing that I might be onto it, which was great. I was like, you got me really good. And then my mom finally crying when we were all just able to embrace. The woman in the red blazer in the back is my principal, who had been super supportive. And the other woman taking the video, she's actually on FaceTime with my husband. She had been the teacher in the classroom before me and also taught both of my children. Just having these people that truly care and truly love you there to support you, we're all showing joy in different ways. So it's not going to look the same. It's not going to look the same in every classroom. But it does matter, and it is a choice. I joke that this is my husband's joy face on the cat. But we have to choose it. We have to wake up each day, even on the hard days, and choose to be joyful so that our students can learn and be more engaged. And that doesn't just mean be happy. It's different. Joy and happiness are different. But besides just, again, being the right thing to do, it does have an increased link to learning. So there's science behind it. I'm not a science person. My license is preschool to 12th grade, special education. You do not want me teaching high school science, but there is some science behind joy, because joy is different than happiness. The research has shown that joy activates our parasympathetic nervous system, promoting feelings of peace and calm. It doesn't just amp us up. It doesn't have us all crazy and excited all the time. It can bring us down and give us a sense of calm and peace that is really hard to fight against when you're in a classroom. When you walk into a class and you feel safe and comfortable and know that teacher wants to be there, it can really make you feel at home. It makes you want to learn, and it makes you more able to learn. So, that joy also can give you some energy, but that self-confidence, those letters got switched, those words got fixed, sorry about that. Self-confidence and better awareness. It's an experience that makes us better and able to work more. So why joy? I love this because it's not just a thing, we have to know the why. Has anyone ever seen this video or heard of Michael Jr.? Okay, I love this, and I want to share this with you because I think the why is so critical.
How do I know? A lot of people, when they think of the phrase, how do I know, they always want to put the what behind it. How do I know what I'm supposed to do? The questions you really should ask is, how do I know why I'm here? Because when you know your why, your what becomes more clear and more impactful. If you know, like for instance, people know that I do comedy, but that's what I do. My why is to inspire people to walk in purpose. So I can do comedy, I can write books, I can be in a movie, because all of it is motivated by my why. In fact, I have a new web series out called Michael Jr. Break Time. We probably just did the 6th episode. It's on YouTube. So every single Wednesday at 3 o'clock, we drop a new episode on YouTube of Michael Jr. Break Time. What it is it's me. I travel around the country and I do stand-up comedy, in case you didn't know. And in the middle of my comedy set sometime, I'll stop and just talk to my audience. And we've been filming this, and it's, you know, it's pretty cool. So we're in Winston-Salem. I'm gonna show you a clip from Winston-Salem. And I'm just talking to this guy in the audience, and he tells me that he's a musical instructor at a school. So I was like, all right, you're a musical instructor, you know, can you sing? Let me hear you sing a song. So this is what happened at the last episode of Michael Jr.'s Break Time. Check it. So you're a musical director? Cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. Can you do the first part of that? Go ahead.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Wow.
That bro could sing, you know what I'm saying?
All right. Now, once you give me the version, is if your uncle just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the hood version real quick, if you know the version I'm talking about, just see if that exists. Let me see what you got.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Okay, here's what I want you to catch. The first time I asked him to sing, he knew what he was doing. The second time, he knew why he was doing it. When you know your why, your what becomes more impactful because you're walking towards or in your purpose.
I get goosebumps every time I see that because our why does matter. Our why for our joy matters, and my why is my students every single day because they deserve it. In this picture is my student Lily and my son Tucker. Lily and Tucker are the same age. They have the same birthday. They're in middle school now, so this picture's a few years old. But they have been best buddies forever. And I cannot speak to how their relationship is part of my why, because every child should know true, meaningful relationships. Every child should have friends, feel welcome, and feel worthy. And when we look into a room, when your teachers look at you, they should see their why, they should see their purpose for their joy and for their teaching. There's article after article written about why joy is important and why learning is meant to be joyful. I love this. Neuroimaging studies and measurements of brain chemical transmitters reveal that when students are engaged and motivated and feel minimal stress, information flows freely through the affected filter and the amygdala, I know I said that wrong, and they achieve higher levels of cognition, make connections, and experience aha moments. Everybody knows those aha moments. There is actual science. Things are happening in the brain when we feel joy. Again, brain imaging showing this. These are studies that have been around for a long time. Here's an article written by me, so it has to be credible, right? This was after COVID. It was written 2021, and I just felt it in my class. I felt it in my school where teachers were stressed and overburdened, and I just knew we've got to bring joy back into the classroom. Another article, this was done at the end of last year. They just interviewed me and they focused on the joy. But something I want to point out, because I had no idea this is going to be the box they highlighted. You can see the little one with the smiley face at the end. They asked me about the teacher that motivated me. And I spoke about my third grade teacher, Miss Kelchner, because she was the teacher that I wrote my freshman year of college that I would never be like. She was mean. She humiliated students. She would dump our desk outs in third grade, for 30 years ago for me. She dumped our desk outs when she thought they might be dirty, not because she knew, because she thought they might. She was mean. And I decided very early on I would never be a Miss Kelchner. And I will never, ever tell people to be a Miss Kelchner, right? You can't be that teacher. You can't have 30 years from now someone saying, I won't be her. You want those students to look and say, that's the teacher I want to be like. That's the teacher I want to become so I can be better and affect more students. So how do we do that? It's easy to say, let's just be joyful, but it's hard. We know it's hard. We are not just teaching students. Those soft skills that we need them to have as educators, we need to have them too, because we're guiding, we're loving, we're disciplining sometimes, and we know that there's a lot of behaviors right now. It takes joy, it takes planning, and it takes support. You have to seek support and accept support when it's offered. From your classroom, sometimes you're going to have to close your door and look around and not just go off the schedule or the really detailed lesson plans. You're going to have to do what's right for students in that moment. And I don't mean step away from curriculum altogether. We know what we have to teach, but we have to do what's right for students right then. We have to slow down and listen, because sometimes students need us to pay attention to things that we can't always just see on the surface. We have to be honest with ourselves and others and not just be negative. If you have a problem, try to show up with a solution, or at least admit, I don't have a solution, but I want to work to find one. And then we have to build relationships and invest time in each student. And I know if you are considering going into mid-level or high school teaching, you are going to have a lot of students, and that might seem hard to do. But somebody in your building needs to have a relationship with that student, because if nobody does, what's going to happen when trouble hits, when they're struggling, when they need help, and they don't feel like they have anyone to go to? Be that point of positive impact for a student or another educator in your building. Your teachers, your fellow coworkers are going to need that support as well. Find something that brings you joy and then make sure you do it often. For my class, again, I know it's elementary school, it's a little bit different. We danced every single morning. We did Go Noodle, Cuckoo Kangaroo, some of those silly videos every single morning. I aligned it with Wiggle Wednesday or Motivational Monday. We had something that we could look forward to. On top of that, my kids that were struggling to keep up with the days of the week knew. They learned something from it. They had motion every morning. The days that I showed up that were hard, it's hard to be in a bad mood after you dance and have a good time in the morning. It made my day better. We had to prioritize and sometimes just let go what's out of our hands. I'm a fixer by nature. I want to fix things. I want to make things better, but we can't fix everything at that moment. We have to prioritize. And then you have to be yourself. I used to think like, we're not all, I'm not an expert, I don't know everything. But then I would walk in a room and tell teachers this, we are the experts. And I stepped back and realized, no, I don't know everything, but I've put in the work, I've done the time, I know and I love my students, and I am an expert in them and what they need, but that doesn't mean I'm done learning, and it doesn't mean I don't stop reaching out for help. And you gotta learn to laugh, y'all, because teaching's hard. It is hard, but it is so much fun. Again, special education, elementary level. I know this isn't appropriate, but I had a student who had a lot of learning needs. She has Down syndrome, she has autism, and we worked really hard on spelling because she could memorize a lot of things. And she was sitting in her desk one day and started yelling that she needed an eye. And I have a paraprofessional named Miss Iserita. And I thought, okay, well, she's not in the room, and I kind of blew her off. And I walked over, I said, honey, she's not in here right now. And I looked down, and she looked at me, and I said, you do not need an eye. You know? I sent Mom this picture. That's one of the reasons I still have it. And she's like, well, you have been working on TCH words. Okay, well, not that one. But, I mean, gosh, if we can't laugh to the end of the hard days, we're going to burn out. We have to be able to laugh and let go of the things that don't matter. This is not worth sending a child home for sending her to the office or getting really angry. We're just going to replace it and know it's not appropriate, because soft skills, we have to teach them. We have to know when things are appropriate and when they're not. We need that laughter. It makes learning more freeing and more appropriate, and it doesn't stop with just our littlest learners. Our older kids need it too. You guys need it. You need to be happy and enjoy school. And again, this joy, it pulls back into engagement. Being willing to do difficult things, take risks, and think deeply about issues. When students are engaged, they're going to learn more. They're going to want to come to school, and they're going to be more successful. So again, how does this work in the classroom? You can't just community build the first week of school or say, oh, this is our class dream, and then put it on the wall and walk away from it. It has to be all year long. Schedule some brain breaks and movements. Even for our older students, get outside when you can. Use music and dancing. I loved playing like piano music for popular songs that are on the radio. It just kept our room going better. Brush off unhelpful criticism, whether it's from a student, a parent, or an administrator. Take constructive criticism, but the stuff that's just there to bring you down, brush it off, move on, and do what you're supposed to do for the betterment of children. And then that collective teacher efficacy. So a term you'll probably hear, believing that you and your coworkers can positively impact students, that you have the ability to help them learn. A couple more pictures. This is my friend and I in the tunnel. This is my friend who's a good speller. And we had to get outside sometimes. She needed those brain breaks. That's another picture of my son Tucker 3 or 4 years ago. He was having a rough year in 2nd grade. And I remember him walking down that hall with that really bad haircut and that sticky note on his chin, and his teacher just saying, I've had a fabulous morning. She didn't give up. She kept building and working on that with him all year long. And not only did he need that, but I needed that as his parent. Getting outside, we can learn life cycles, growing our own things. We can't go on field trips, then we'll bring a pumpkin patch to school. We found ways to get creative, and we found ways to have fun. And then meeting students where they're at. If you've ever shown up hungry to an event, to school, you know it's hard to learn and it's hard to be engaged. For my friend here, I needed to keep bananas in the classroom so she could start her day easily and better and be ready to work. And that $1.50 a week for me was worth it so that she could achieve. And don't forget joy. I know when we get into teaching, there's testing and there's all these professional developments and all these things we have to do for assessments. But get outside, let go, have fun. It's okay to have fun, and you'll be amazed to see how much more engaged your students are. I get choked up every time I show this picture because I put my parents through it, y'all. At the end of high school and beginning when I first started college, I gave them a run for their money. But my dad never gave up on me. He never, ever told me my story was over. And when I was ready to get it back together, go back to school, and be successful and choose it myself, he was there that minute to support me. Not everybody's going to have that at home, so it might be you. You might be the one that your students look to for that they need. And I know that sounds like a heavy burden, but y'all, it is worth it. It is worth it to know that every single day you have the opportunity and the ability to make someone's life better. And you have the ability to change the course of a student's future. So I just encourage you, if you decide to go into education, do it right. If you're going to do this job, do it right. You're worth it, your time is worth it, and your students are worth it. This is my contact information. I have a Facebook page that I update pictures up on regularly. I'll share pictures from today. I have Twitter that I update stuff on too, and my email address. If you do go into teaching, if you ever have questions, if you're a building leader in here or a teacher in here and you need something, I have until June 30th where I get to tour the state and come be with students and be with teachers and be in schools and see what you're doing. I would love to do that. Thank you for letting me speak to you today. I love this. I think the future of education is bright. I see it in front of me, and I hope that each of you that chooses to go into education does it with an open heart, ready to change the world. Thank you.